morning, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for joining me for Friday's conversation. There we are. We're back on. So thanks for joining me here in Northern Illinois. If you don't know who I am, I'm Rita Hickman. I'm a shiatsu massage therapist and body-mind expert, and I've been in my practice for about 10 years. And my specialty is really helping women navigate high levels of stress so that they can, keep succeeding and thriving and moving forward in their life. So today we're talking about when something hits you, when your system suddenly gets flooded by an emotion, what are the things that will rescue you right now? What are one of the three things that I go to no matter what? So sometimes life will knock you on your butt, absolutely. It'll throw you for a loop and your system gets completely flooded. So let me tell you a couple things to give you a little more comfort. One, all of us have a level that we can experience and no more. We actually do have a limit of what we can experience before we stop feeling it, before we either disassociate or before that's the full number body can release and the full amount that we can feel. So, to give yourself a little bit of comfort or a little bit of understanding or compassion, realize that you do have a threshold. There is a limit of how much you can feel. So when you know that, when you're kind of aware of that, it helps you pull a little bit back and problem solve. Because sometimes, hey everybody, I'm glad everybody's here. Barbara and Kathy and Sherry, that's awesome. It's okay. So sometimes life will knock you for a huge loop. Something unexpected will come out of left field and you won't level of, hey, good, I'm glad we're back on. And Margie's here too. So sometimes when we hit those levels of stress, we don't even know they're coming. We've been living our life, doing our thing, and something just knocks us. And our system is completely flooded by an emotion. And we either express it with anger or by lashing out or by, hey, Melissa, or by pulling in or by staying in bed for days. Let me tell you that on the other overwhelm, on the other side of this complete flooding, what we might call a healing crisis, on the other side of it is your wisdom and your insight and your understanding. Because what's been getting in the way of you moving forward has been everything that's been behind this door, everything that's been waiting for you to experience or navigate or feel. It's been waiting. And usually because because it's something that's scary, we ignore it for a long time until something comes along in life, either something that we created or something we didn't expect or a situation that was karmic or inevitable. And our system shuts down and we feel heavy and we feel incapable of thinking clearly and we're not rational. Those things happen. And if you continue on a path of stress, and that's where you're going to go, and it's going to happen more and more often, which is one of the reasons why I've got a daily practice where I let myself feel really hard emotions, fear and anger and hurt. I let myself feel them, even if it's just for 5 or 10 minutes, because it gets me familiar with how to navigate them. It gets me familiar for when life does throw me something that's really painful or hard or scary. I know how to deal with the overwhelm. I know how to deal with those negative feelings because I deal with them in very small ways on a regular basis. So from a body-mind perspective, I want you to, when you feel flooded, I want you to have a game plan. And here is what I want you to have in your game plan. I want you to either go for a drive, I want you to go for a walk, or I want you to take a bath or a hot shower or, a warm therapy pool, something along those lines. I want you to do one of those 3 things. And this is why. Because one of the good things about being flooded by an emotion is that it doesn't let us ignore what we've been ignoring for a long time. And it finally gets released into our system so that we can flush it out of our system. Unfortunately, it happens at a level where it feels really uncomfortable and really hard to deal with and heavy, very, very heavy. But when we let ourselves be present with what we're feeling, without distracting it, without going and exercising hard or going and getting something done, when we don't have any choice but to feel what we're feeling because it's so overwhelming, you can change your felt sense. So there's this guy who used to be a doctor, and now he spends his time roller skating on one roller skate as slowly as possible. Hey, Jan, as slowly as possible in California. And here's the reason why. Because we have 3 stones in our ears, one on each side, like crystals, like stones. And those stones give us balance. They give us a connection to the earth, that gravity. When we're moving forward, let's say when we're going for a drive or a train ride or roller skating on one roller skate or go for a walk, when we do those things, it makes us feel better. It gives us a different felt sense. And it allows us, it helps us be present with whatever heaviness or whatever scariness or flood of emotion we're having so we can get to the wisdom and the understanding on the other side. Hey, Pam, and Jan's here too. So the second thing that I would suggest, so movement, I said go for a walk or go for a drive. Movement is very critical for helping you feel better. The next thing I would suggest is to take a bath or a warm therapy pool or a steam room or a sauna, something that's comfortable. Because you need to make yourself as physically comfortable as possible. Because when you're physically comfortable, you can tolerate and be present with the hard, heavy things that you've just been flooded with. So instead of keeping yourself distracted or ignoring it even longer when you're flooded, or even staying in bed and just not moving, hey Bonnie, or sleeping through it all. When you give yourself a different felt sense where you feel different, it lets you be present to what you're feeling. It lets your body flush it out so you can get to the other side and you can get to that wisdom again. So taking a bath where you're comfortable, taking a sauna or a steam room where you're warm and comfortable. It's not just the comfort part. It's also that you're giving yourself a different felt sense. Your body is feeling all the negative emotions that you've got. It's feeling the sadness and the heartbreak and the betrayal and the hurt. And actually a lot of those things are built up. They aren't directly related to this situation. It's just this situation that opened that door, or this person or that word that opened that door to that flood of emotions. And so you don't want to take your emotions out on this person that's triggering you, that's causing this, because you're not in your right mind right now. So instead, you need to give yourself that different felt sense. And a bath, because it gives your skin a different sense, and then the different temperatures that you're in, and that it's warm and a temperature that you like, That will help you be present with how you feel, so your body can get to the other side and your brain can come back online. So you want to give yourself a different felt sense. Now, the other thing that I absolutely do when I have been hit by a brick in my head and I want to just lay flat on the ground and sleep or hide or do whatever, I do let myself take something to help me tolerate whatever it is I'm feeling. Whatever giant emotion that's overwhelming me right now, I keep things like emergency Xanax. I keep emergency things around. And for some people, I help them create an emergency kit, also known as, let's say, a medicine bag, with things which will keep me feeling good enough so I can let myself feel bad. So I can let myself feel through the emotion that I'm having and be present with it. Because the only way you are going to stop triggering, the only way you're going to stop sabotaging yourself is to let yourself be present with whatever you're feeling. A medicine bag is a wonderful, wonderful tool. Let yourself be present and do whatever you have to do to be present to that. Sometimes I tell people, I say, if you have to eat the Twinkie, eat the Twinkie. Hey, Carrie, do whatever you have to do in order to stay present and be present with that flood of emotions. Because if you're not, then it's just going to come back and it's going to be worse later on. If you really want to be proactive and start moving forward, when you are flooded, when you're in emergency realm, when you want to go in swinging, when you want to hurt somebody as much as you possibly can, when your body feels like it weighs 1,000 pounds, when your brain completely shuts off, when you're in that space, remember, it's not about the person or the situation. They're just triggering you. That your wisdom and your insight is on the other side of this, so you can't take what you're feeling as seriously as you want to. You need to do a course correct, and you need to let yourself be present, because when you're present with it, when you feel what you're feeling, your body can flush it through and you can get exactly what you need to know. Hey, Wendy, good to see you. You can get exactly what you need to know in order to problem solve or understand or have insight for the situation. So when you're under extreme stress, when it's not just maintaining and powering through, when something has come up behind you and knocked you on your butt and you feel like just flooded, as they say, hey Julie, just flooded with overwhelm and emotion, I want you to move. As I said, either walk or drive or roller skate on one roller skate. I want you to take a bath or a steam or a sauna or a warm therapy pool, because that will give you a different felt experience. Or I want you to take something or do something. Eat the Twinkie, take the Xanax, do what you have to do in order to give yourself a different physical felt sense. And when you do that, you'll be able to tolerate the emotions that have been waiting, that have been just behind that door. You'll be able to tolerate the flood that you're feeling so that you can get to the other side. Because remember, how you feel right now is not how you're going to feel in 2 days. You're going to feel differently then. But right now, you feel like the world has come to an end. And when you feel like everything is over, remember, you're going to be okay. This is going to turn out all right, and that you've got tools to help you out. Okay? So